Hey folks, David York here at the York Way, and going to make a little bit of a long form video today about this project that we're getting ready to start with this chieftain here. Many of you know our good friend and customer Robbie Diffie, and if you do, you know she had an accident about a month ago up on the Cherahela Skyway while riding with the Thundering Indian through the Smokies group. The way it happened is she was in a left-hand turn up on the Skyway, or left-hand curve. There was some debris right in the middle of her lane, and she evaded the debris around to the right-hand side and actually made it around the debris, and then her rear tire dropped off the edge of the pavement, and when it did, it caused the bike to low side. Now, she had the presence of mind to stay on the bike, feet on the floorboards, hand on the grips, and rode out the low side, and the bike started to come back on the pavement, and when it did, something gripped and flipped the bike up onto the right side, so it high-sided to the right side, and then the bike spun around. When it high-sided, it threw her off the high side. She landed right beside the bike, but she broke 4 ribs, broke a scapula, and she got a few other things she's working through, a concussion. And but Robbie's in great spirits. You know, those of you that know her know she's a strong person, strong-willed, and she's got goals. She wants to get back on this bike and ride this bike. This is a bike that she treasures and wants to keep it. So Indian of Knoxville took care of the bike for her after the accident. It was stored there. They did helped her with the insurance claim, and the bike ended up being totaled. Robbie bought the bike back, and after that happened, we went and got the bike, brought it here, and the first thing we did was test ride it. I actually had to pull the brake lever off my personal bike and put on this so we could test ride it. But the bike runs good, the mechanicals are good, and so most of the work that we've got to do is going to be fixing cosmetics and a few other things that broke obviously during the accident. But everything's straight and mechanically sound. So I'll grab the camera, flip it around, and walk you around the bike and show you the work that we've got to do, and tell you what the plan is to get it back on the road. Looking down the left side of this bike, not a whole lot of damage on this side of the bike, especially considering it slid 75 to 100 feet on this side. What we did when we first got the bike here, we test rode it and then came back, put it on the lift, and walked around it, inspected everything. And you're going to see all the tape marks showing you where we found damage. Blue tape indicates minor damage that Robbie could choose to fix or not fix, and then green tape is parts that's got to be replaced. So this side, again, not a lot of damage, but it had a ton of grass in it. Grass was caked in here between the saddlebag protector and the saddlebag. It was caked under here at the exhaust crossover. Caked under here at the kickstand mount and the floorboard mount. So you can see where the floorboard mount did drag on the pavement a little bit, but there's no real damage on the tip over bar or the highway bar where you would expect it, because I think this all actually slid in the grass and the front half of the bike slid more on the pavement. So we're going to be replacing the highway bar. Major damages on the other side. The front down tube's getting replaced. It was already on schedule to replace, because not from the accident, but because the side stand is worn out, and known issue on these bikes. So that down tube's getting replaced. This is not broken. It's just the rubber has come separated from the floorboard, so no problem. Put all that back together. The bike was really dirty because when it was at Knoxville, it sat outside for 10 days, 2 weeks. But that's no problem. We'll take care of all of that. No issues with the fender. You can see all the leftover double-sided tape here. Robbie had this beautiful leather work throughout the bike, and right after the accident, she had friends there that went out to the bike and pulled a lot of things off the bike that she wanted to save, because she did not think she was going to get the bike back. So, you know, good friends, good people, a lot of good people helped her out in the days right after the accident. But that's not a problem. We'll get all this taken care of, cleaned up, taken off. This whole bike is going to get polished and ceramic coated, so it's going to look great when it's done. Up here on the fairing is broken, cracked all the way through here from the light to the end. You can see the scratch marks, the deep gouge marks are going in two different directions. So I think this bike spun around a little bit when it landed on this part of the fairing. So it took a hard hit, cracked that. The lights, the mount is broken, the light's pushed in. It's scratched up, you can't really see it, but it's scratched up pretty bad there. A little bit of scraping right here on the edge of the windshield, not bad. So, but that's easy to replace whenever Robbie wants to do that. The mirror got scratched up. The top of the mirror got scratched up all the way through the chrome, which tells you how upside down this bike landed when it landed on the right side. Brake lever broken. Normally they break out here at the ball end where there's a built-in weak point. So when the bike falls over, it'll just snap off there and you still have a usable lever out about this far. But this one hit so hard from the top down that it broke the lever back here closer to the perch. Here you are down at the highway bar. It is pushed about 4 inches forward of where it should be, which is a good thing because that means it absorbed a lot of the damage from the accident when it flipped over to the right side. This little toe perch is spun around a little bit. It is normally sitting like this, but it's got a little bit of pavement buried in there between the rubber and the mount, because when it landed on the right side, this buried in the pavement about that far. So Cherry-Halo Skyway is missing a little chunk of pavement, and it's in here. This down tube's getting replaced mainly because this gap down here where the highway bar pulled away, it bent the bolt, and 99% sure it's going to strip those threads. So that's just a safety replacement part. The gas tank is great. Nothing wrong with the gas tank. Floorboards, brake lever, everything else is good on this side, at least up front there. There was a hip over bar here. This was actually broken during the accident. It broke here at the weld, and it was very bent. On the lower part of the mount down here was very bent. So it bent so bad that it actually pulled the bolt out and stripped threads. So we'll end up rethreading that, putting a new tip over bar in there. And then we get to the saddlebag. It's very colorful because you can see the top of the saddlebag got shaved. I believe this is going to be related to the same thing that you saw up on the fairing. At the top of the fairing is probably when this got shaved off. And the latches are going to need to be replaced. Obviously, you can't fix that. So those parts have already been ordered. I've actually got a pile of boxes that just came in, so these parts are probably here already. The highway bar, the tip over bars, a lot of the parts that were already ordered are here already. Pretty deep scratch and gouge here. So one of the challenges with this bike is that it's a 1 year color, and it seems to be a little hard to get. So still sorting that out on if we're going to be able to buy this color, buy these parts pre-painted, or if we're going to have to get some unpainted parts or some black parts and paint them to match. So here's the inner fender here got a pretty good scratch and gouge here. This painter could fix this. We need a new gasket right there as well. A painter could a good painter can fix this saddlebag as well, if we cannot find a replacement. Coming around the back, just a lot of cleanup to do. She had this custom leather work right down through here, and we'll get all that cleaned up and polished out. No problem there. So what we'll end up doing is changing the oil, doing a couple of things like that, a couple of maintenance things like that, and then we're gonna we're going to deconstruct the bike, and as we take everything apart, you know, fix strip threads and do different things like that, we'll be polishing all the chrome, all the paint, make it shiny, and ceramic coat everything as we put it back together. If it doesn't already have a metal worm gear in there for the windshield, we'll probably replace that while we're in there, because we're going to already be in the fairing anyway. So maybe a couple of things like that that we do that are really inexpensive to do, good value to the customer while we're already in there. So that's where we're at. And make sure you follow along our page, hit follow, and we'll be showing status updates on the bike as we go along.